What are you doing? During my husband's funeral, my 5-year-old daughter discarded the $600 condolence money from my sister into the trash can. I exclaimed, "Pick it up immediately! That's something important!" Startled by my voice, my daughter muttered,
"This is unnecessary,"
tears welling up in her eyes. I retorted, "That can't be true."
"Well then, Dad wants you to check the contents."
Even though my husband was no longer in this world, why was my daughter saying such things? At that moment, I recalled something. Could it be that she was hearing it again? Swiftly, I picked up the condolence money, maintaining a calm facade. After everyone had left, I opened the envelope, and what I saw was beyond belief. My name is Olivia Brown, and I'm a 31-year-old nurse. I have a sister named Elsa, and we've been arguing since childhood. Elsa seems to dislike me for various reasons and takes every opportunity to harass me when our parents aren't looking. I remember once asking her for the reason behind her behavior, and she replied,
"You took Mom and Dad away from me."
Our kind parents treated both of us equally, but it seems that wasn't enough for Elsa. Despite the constant bickering, things changed when I was 25. I met Richard, a pharmacist, through work connections. Our relationship blossomed smoothly, and we eventually got married and had a daughter. However, Elsa didn't approve and started contacting me just to make snide remarks.
"He seems shady and untrustworthy. Definitely going to cheat on you, right? You should break up."
Not only did she criticize me, but she also insulted my husband, Richard. Frustrated, I stopped answering her calls. But then she bombarded me with an avalanche of emails. Even after our daughter was born, the stress of parenting made me feel like I was on the edge. Avoiding my sister as much as possible, I visited our parents' house one day. To my surprise, Elsa, who rarely came home, was there. I don't want to deal with this. I thought I'd finish my business and leave quickly. Little did I know that my sister had something devious up her sleeve.
"Did you receive my gift?"
With a wicked smile, she whispered from behind. "Huh? What are you talking about?"
"I sent something nice for your daughter's 5th birthday."
"Oh, really? Thanks. I'll let you know when it arrives." Seeing my cautious response, Elsa looked satisfied and muttered, before leaving the house,
"My condolences."
Wait, what does she mean by that? Then, my husband called me.
"Elsa sent a package."
It seems like a birthday gift for Emma.
Huh? She hasn't sent anything in the past 5 years.
Richard was right. My sister had never sent anything for Emma's birthday or any other occasion in the 5 years since her birth. But there was something unsettling about Elsa's recent behavior. "Feel free to throw it away if it's something strange," I told my husband. He opened the package and said,
"Looks like fancy pastries from a famous bakery."
For a moment, I thought I was overreacting, but something bothered me. Would my sister really send such treats to Emma? Lost in thought, I remained silent, listening to the voices on the other end of the phone. My husband scolded Emma.
"Give it back."
And then Emma's high-pitched voice chimed in.
"But I can't eat this. It'll upset my stomach."
My husband insisted.
"That doesn't mean you should throw food in the trash."
Meanwhile, Emma continued to sob, repeating,
"But..."
Upon hearing that conversation, I exclaimed in a loud voice, "Richard! Wait!" And shared Emma's story with Richard. Initially skeptical, my husband seemed to sense something as he listened to my account. He apologized.
If you insist, I'll check the sweets in my office. Sorry for getting upset.
Emma's mood improved after his apology, and she cheerfully added,
It's okay, but usually, I take good care of my food.
Hearing their conversation over the phone, I felt relieved and ended the call. Later that night, Richard revealed an astonishing truth.
When I had it checked at our university hospital, the pastries turned out to contain a potent laxative.
I gasped. Are you serious?
Someone must have injected it without opening the package.
I shuddered, thinking about Emma potentially eating them. Richard reassured me.
We didn't notice anything. Emma's vigilance saved us.
Agreed. If my sister sends anything else, let's dispose of it without opening it. Filled with fear and anger at Elsa's abnormal behavior, I immediately contacted her. Why did you send something like that?
Oh, it arrived safely. How was it? Impressive, right?
What do you mean? I didn't eat those pastries. You've gone too far. Realizing her plan had failed due to my words, Elsa muttered,
Honestly, you've always annoyed me. You should become even more miserable.
Then she abruptly hung up the phone. Is she planning to harm Emma again? Terrified by my sister's words, I discussed with Richard and decided to prioritize our daughter's safety by adjusting our work schedules. Our days were far from happy as we lived cautiously, unable to go out on weekends and keeping the curtains drawn day and night. Whether Elsa knew it or not, she hadn't sent a single phone call or email, leaving me wondering if she'd given up entirely. And in the blink of an eye, 4 months had passed since the pastries incident. On a hot summer night when my guard had slightly lowered, I murmured to myself while putting Emma to bed. Lately, Elsa has been quiet, and our days are peaceful. Just then, my phone rang loudly, and it was the hospital calling to inform me that my husband had been rushed to the emergency room. They said he was in critical condition. I immediately took Emma and headed to the hospital where he had been taken. Upon arriving at the hospital room, I was met with the sight of my husband lying there, seemingly asleep. No treatments or machines were attached to him. The nurse's intuition told me, "Oh, he's beyond saving." The subsequent memories are hazy, and I can't recall exactly what the hospital staff explained to me or how I conveyed the situation to Emma. But one thing remains vivid: the doctor's words.
It's difficult to attribute this to an accident. He might have been harmed by someone.
What does that mean? I heard Richard collapsed in an alley, alone, with no one around. With a heavy heart, the day of parting with my husband arrived. The venue was filled with hundreds of people, his colleagues, friends, and acquaintances. As I observed the crowd, I couldn't help but appreciate Richard's character and the respect he commanded. It seems that many people are genuinely drawn to him. As I thanked each mourner individually and managed the reception, my sister suddenly appeared.
It's been quite a struggle for you, hasn't it? Well, here's $600 to lift your spirits,
She said, tossing an offering envelope onto the reception desk. Thank you. I watched her smirk as she entered the hall. After tracking her with my eyes, I glanced down and noticed that the envelope from my sister had vanished. What are you doing? My daughter was throwing the $600 condolence money from my sister into the trash can. Tearfully, she responded.
This is something we don't need.
Shocked by her defiance, I insisted. That can't be true. Pick it up immediately.
Then, check the contents.
What?
Dad said so.
Emma insists that the words are from my late husband, who is no longer in this world. At that moment, I recalled something startling. You see, my daughter possesses a mysterious ability, one I've noticed since she began speaking. Emma shared stories about my grandmother, whom she couldn't possibly have known. As these revelations repeated, I began to believe in Emma's power. Could it be? Did she hear it again? I quickly picked up the condolence envelope, careful not to attract attention. When everyone had left, I opened it, and an astonishing item lay before me. What is this? My anger toward my sister, who had casually handed me this, surged. But was it true? Since my husband had passed away, I couldn't ask him directly. Richard's words would have to be conveyed through Emma. However, not everyone might believe my daughter's account. That's why I needed irrefutable evidence. I wouldn't accept that my husband's death was a mere accident. Determined to avenge him, I delved into his past, uncovering truths beyond my wildest imagination. Armed with this evidence, I prepared to cast my sister into hell. 1.5 months later, we held a memorial meeting to remember my husband. We gathered with relatives for a meal. My sister plopped down in front of the food as if she couldn't wait to eat. Despite not everyone being present yet, she grabbed a beer and started eating. Elsa, everyone isn't here yet, so hold off.
I came here hungry and ready to feast. Don't nitpick.
Suppressing my anger, I took a deep breath and faced her squarely. You're right. It's your last supper, so do as you please. She snapped.
What do you mean?
You'll understand soon. I'm returning your words verbatim. My condolences. Confused, she stammered.
Wait, what are you saying? What do you mean by last?
Despite her flustered state, I ignored her and finished preparing for today's main event. Standing before our relatives, I began my address. Today, we gather to honor my late husband, Richard. Thank you all for being here. As I expressed gratitude to everyone present, some of our relatives wiped away tears, perhaps remembering him in his prime. In the midst of it all, my sister continued to devour her food like a famished hyena. Today, in addition to the memorial meeting, we have gathered to alleviate my husband's lingering regrets. I announced. Elsa, who had been engrossed in her meal, suddenly froze at my words. Richard was found collapsed in an alley after a work-related drinking party. The cause was a severe blow to the back of his head. The room fell silent as everyone absorbed this information. Then, out of nowhere, my sister's high-pitched voice pierced the air.
Are you playing detective now? Seriously, Richard probably just slipped on the stairs while drunk and hit his head. You're not suggesting someone else did this, are you?
My previously silent sister suddenly launched into a rapid-fire monologue. Initially, I thought it was an accident too. But on the day of the funeral, I received something that raised suspicions. I powered up my computer and projected the letter from the condolence money my sister had left that day. The screen displayed the repeated phrase, "Do not take Richard. Do not brainwash Richard. Cast you into hell, cast you into hell, cast you into hell." Amidst the eerie atmosphere, my relatives were left dumbfounded by the disturbing text. However, my sister glared at me with a ferocity that could pierce steel.
That's right. This woman stole my Richard. We were dating. Thief!
She exclaimed. I calmly responded. No, that's not true. My husband was never in a relationship with you. Undeterred, my sister continued.
Lies. Richard and I were lovers. We even promised to get married. You're the one who snatched him away.
Ignoring her persistent outbursts, I projected a notebook onto the screen. This is a diary my husband consistently wrote in. Whether he had a cold or returned home drunk, he faithfully recorded something in this notebook every day. And your name appears repeatedly in this diary, I revealed. The room buzzed with speculation. So, were they really involved? But my next words silenced them once more. Elsa engaged in stalking behavior toward my husband. With that declaration, I opened the actual pages of his diary, revealing the truth to everyone. According to what was written, it seems that my husband has been stalked by my sister, and he has been trying to handle it on his own without causing me any worry. He apparently asked colleagues and friends not to mention it to me because he didn't want to worry me about the troublesome person who posed a danger.
You're lying. You're the one who took him away. He belongs to me. Admit that you're at fault.
Come on. Richard told me about this.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Emma has a mysterious ability. She can communicate with the deceased. Upon hearing these words, my sister and everyone present exchanged surprised glances. The reason I decided to look at my husband's diary was because my daughter had informed me that Richard had said Elsa was stalking him.
Wait, are you kidding me? She has psychic abilities? Creepy.
My sister burst into laughter, then turned to Emma and spat out.
Disgusting.
Fed up with her behavior, I confronted my sister. Who's the creepy one here? You relentlessly pursued Richard and then sent him to the afterlife.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
You seem quite shaken.
Well, of course. You suddenly dropped that bombshell on me.
As the tension rose among the relatives, I glanced at them and then returned to my computer, playing a certain video once more. That was a recording on my husband's smartphone of a conversation when my husband was summoned by my sister on the day he passed away. He felt in danger, so he secretly recorded the video to avoid alerting my sister. Additionally, the video clearly captured Elsa pushing my husband down the stairs.
No, no! Stop it! Delete it!
This is evidence.
Why? His phone was shattered. How?
My husband's phone lay broken next to him, the screen shattered into pieces. However, somehow, the data inside was recovered.
I thought there was no way it would be discovered.
At that moment, my daughter Emma arrived and playfully tapped my sister's shoulder.
Aunt Elsa, ever heard of what goes around comes around? If you harm others, it'll come back to haunt you. Dad says so.
Clearly, everyone around was surprised by the words that a 5-year-old wouldn't normally use, and my sister, finally believing in my daughter's abilities, began to tremble.
I just wanted to take everything away from you. I apologize. Please forgive me.
With a tear-streaked face, Elsa clung to my feet, but I forcefully pushed her away. I'll never forgive you for taking away my beloved husband, Emma's adored dad. With determination, I uttered those words, and my sister collapsed to her knees. Afterward, my sister was arrested for the crime of pushing Richard down the stairs, as the audio and video evidence proved decisive. Now, she spends her days reflecting behind bars. However, given my sister's history, I'm skeptical about the authenticity of the letter she sent. Occasionally, I converse with Richard through Emma. Yet, Emma recently mentioned,
I can't hear Dad's voice anymore.
I'm uncertain whether Emma's abilities are waning or if Richard believes we're okay now and has stopped communicating. As a gentle breeze, hinting at spring, caressed my face, I gazed up at the sky. Both Emma and I take pride in knowing you were my husband and her beloved father. Keep resting peacefully, Richard, my dear husband and loving dad.
How did you find this story? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Until next time.